Most of our lives and the lives of our clients are all about the stories we tell ourselves. All the great stories that help us succeed in life, some of the stories that are not so great, that kind of drag us down, some of the stories even paralyze us. If we can change our stories, if we can change our, not just the big life story, but little stories we tell ourselves, we can truly change our life. We can truly become happier. We can truly improve our overall well-being. And we can truly do whatever it is that we want to do in life. This, of course, like with any other tool, we are going to practice. You are going to practice on yourself. See what works, what doesn't. Make sure that this really resonates with you. And then and only then, you can apply this tool with your clients. So there are a couple of assumptions, right? So first of all, before you share this story, this rewriting your happiness story tool, you have to make sure that the happiness scale was given to the clients, that you discussed the results of the happiness scale, that you as a coach fully understand the PERMA. We talked about that earlier, the happiness model, and that this exercise really can and should be done in multiple sessions. So this is, once you get to know client a little better, then you can work on rewriting their happiness story. Again, we know that some story, like I said, paralyzes us. Some story really just brings us down. But since this is happiness certification coaching, we are focused on some of the happiness stories and some stories that should be happiness stories, but they're not. So think about, again, we are going to work on ourselves, all right? So this is the tool that you're first going to apply, certainly, in your own life. So in part one, you're going to look at your current happiness story. So just think about for a moment, take a moment and think about your own happiness. What is your happiness story? Or what are your happiness stories? Is the happiness rating you defined earlier on the happiness scale acceptable to you? Is the happiness important to you? Is it important for you to become even happier? Once you know the answer to that question, the next question is why? Remember, once you have a big reason, a big why, you can truly accomplish anything. But you gotta dig the reason why you want to become happier. Why? What would be different? Why is that so important for you? Now, do you think there is a connection? And if so, what is connection between, remember PERMA? So we're going to go line by line. What is the connection between positive emotions and happiness? All right, this one I think it's easier to understand, right? Positive emotions and happiness. Let's go to engagement. What is the connection between engagement or flow and happiness? What is the connection between relationships and happiness? What is the connection between meaning and happiness? What is the connection between achievement and happiness? You truly need to understand, especially as a coach, connections between each part of PERMA and happiness. And then think about how you can increase parts of PERMA, as I would say. How you can increase, positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, achievement. How you can bring that up so that if you do see connection, then you can become even happier. if you continue doing what you're doing today, how likely it is that your happiness level will change? Have you possibly removed or minimized some parts of PERMA that maybe kind of brings down your happiness level? Meaning that, do you have less of positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, achievement in your life? That could be the reason that you are not as happier as you used to be, or not as happier as you want to be? So after answering some of these questions and truly taking your time, truly taking your time, this is not, lecture that you're going just to listen and move on. So truly taking your time. Once you're done with that, then we are going to move to part 2. So now that you answered all these questions and truly understand what's going on in your life, we want you to write your own happiness story. So we actually want to write 3 to 4 happiness stories. So think about your happiness. Think about what truly brings you happiness. And then come up with the 3 to 4 stories, but true stories, not generic, here's why I'm happy, but being very specific. What happened, when, why, how did it make you feel, why did it bring you happiness, and so on. Just be as specific as possible, almost with the dates and time and who was around you and so on, as specific as possible. And we want you to write 3 to 4 happiness stories in this form. Please, you might need more space, more paper. Just bring a additional piece of paper as you write your stories, as this form may not have enough space, and probably does not have enough space for you to write your happiness story, because I'm guessing, each story is going to be maybe half page, maybe page or so. It doesn't really matter. Maybe it's few paragraphs, maybe it's 10 pages. Maybe you're going to write a book on your happiness story. But the point is that you come up with 3 to 4 happiness stories and write, just put like the story title so that we know what it is, and then you write your happiness story. Now in part 3, we want you to write your current, should be happy story. The stories that really should make you happy, but for some reason they don't. This really could be start from a very simple things. If you're struggling, start from the time you wake up, right? So you were able to sleep, you woke up, you can take your own shower. No, you don't need help from no one. You can eat, you can walk, you can see, you can listen to this program. You were able to purchase it. You are studied something that is meaningful to you. And then just dig deeper into your life and find the stories that that they should make you happy, right? All your results and achievements in your life and family and friends and partnership and, everything else. But for some reason, these stories don't make you happy. So come up again with 3 to 4 stories, what we call my not so happy story. And then just again, write the story title and then write your story. Again, you will probably need more space, more paper. So please just add the multiple pages. As much or as little time take, but don't take a minute or 2, right? So take as much time as you need, and come up with these 3 to 4 stories. Again, stories that should be happy, right? They should bring you happiness, but for some reason they don't. So we call them, my not so happy stories. Now is the time to look at and analyze your stories. So we're going to start with your happiness stories first. So let's take this form and write down the notes about your happiness stories. read it now, one by one. Read the first story and kind of analyze it. Put the notes. What made you happy? Why? What happened? Who was with you? What day or time? What else was going on in your life? How did you feel? All these things that are in your story that that helped you kind of bring your happiness level. So write down, put your notes. Now analyze your happy story and put all the notes about your happiness stories. Once you're done with that, then you are going to take a notes about your not so happy story. So again, think what happened, why it happened, who was with you, when it happened, why these stories don't make you so happy. Go one by one. Think about, should they make you happy and why? But then just thoughts, just kind of like ideas about these not so happy stories. And then later on you can kind of compare these notes about happiness stories and not so happy stories. Okay, now that you have your happy stories, you have your not so happy stories, you analyzed your both happy and not so happy stories, and you did all the pre-work in part 1 and 2 and 3. Now what we want to do is, now we want you to rewrite your not so happy story. So think about your not so happy story, and then we want you to write a new story based on that old story. So the new story is, when you find a story that doesn't really look so happy, right? Maybe like the one that really should make you happy, but it totally does not. That's the story we want to work on. So you want to continue with your, you want to rewrite this story, and here's how you're going to do this. So how are you going to rewrite your story? So you're going to start with the truth is, right? That's how you're going to start it. So write down what is likely to happen if you continue with your old story. The truth is ... What is likely to happen if you continue with your old story? Please follow this format. Please start with the truth is. It's really important. It will really help you understand. It will help you analyze it. It will help you to really see to see the truth, right? To see the truth. And then, as you write it, keep in mind that your new story should be inspirational and full of optimism. It truly should be full of optimism. This is not the story that we're going just to try to make it look happy. This is the story that is full of optimism, energy, that will really totally can change at some point your life, right? We are changing your story so we can help you have a better life. Now, this is your story. This is no one else's story. We are not telling you to make up stuff, right? This is your story. Keep that in mind. Also, your new story could truly be a turning point in your life. Keep that in mind. Truly could be a turning point in your life. As you do this, bring your wisdom, reason for intelligence while writing these new stories. Be wise, be intelligent, be smart. And the last but not the least, just keep writing. Don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about spelling error. Don't worry about anything. Just keep your pen down and keep writing. For some of you that decide to do it on the computer, that's fine too. Same rule. Just keep writing. Don't stop for a few minutes to look at the grammar and so on. So now, again, this new happiness story is going to be, we're going to rewrite the old story and put the title name again, and then start with the truth is again, and then follow these 7 points that we have in the form to rewrite your happiness story. Now that you have your story rewritten, read it out loud and think about, what do you need to change in your life to support this story? What are the habits that you have to create in order to support this story? Maybe it's one habit, maybe it's two, maybe it's three, maybe it's five, I don't know. But you will have to create some habits, because we're not looking for like one incident, something that's going to happen 3 weeks from now, 10 a.m. until 10:05. We are really looking for a life story, something that will truly help you change your life, if you can change your story. So we are looking for you to create some new habits and or replace the existing ones, right? You will replace the existing ones regardless. But we want to create the new habits and or we want to change the existing habits that will help us with making this new story reality. So write down these, habits, 1, 2, 3, 4, regardless how many you think you need to create and or change, right? So put the names, what are the habits? It's one step. And the next step is, without going into detail of habits and happiness that I described in my other programs, we want to ask you just one more thing, right? So put the habit name. What is it that you need to change in your life? And the next thing is that write down your accountability partner. Who is going to help you create these habits? Remember, this person is really going to help you change your story. This person is going to help you change your life. So as you do this, think about someone you trust, someone you can rely on, someone who will not bring you down, but rather help you improve, change your life, and become happier. I always say that if you cannot find an accountability partner, reach out to us, reach out to me. We'll make sure that we hold you accountable so you can change your own story. Now, how do we do this with our clients? Well, first of all, as with any exercise, and I know we keep repeating, but it is so important, and that's why we do it. You're going to go through it, take as much time as you need, make sure you fully understand, make sure you really help yourself first change your happiness story. And then once you do, again, you are ready to work with your client on this. You have this form. You feel free to adjust this form in any way you want so that you can share with your clients and or use it as is, because all the elements are there. And then, just like we walked you through to help you change your own happiness story, you are going to walk your clients. You just have to make sure certainly that you understand a lot more, because you will, than your clients, of course. You have to make sure that you are able to answer a lot of questions, as the questions will come up. You have to make sure that you understand why this is so important. Again, if this wasn't important for you, and if it didn't work for you, chances are it's not going to work for your clients. So don't even try. But if you see a lot of value in rewriting your story, and again, this is just a small exercise where we're focusing only on rewriting happiness stories. And then you can move on with your clients with rewriting their, really bad stories and turning them into the great stories. This is when, we get a little better, when you get more knowledge, when you have your practice, that you can truly help your clients rewrite their life story, make a better story, and then follow that story to become, much happier, to become healthier, to improve their own overall well-being, and then, to truly have your great, happy client where they will, based on this and everything else that you do, recommend you everywhere, that you will not really have to do anything but, sit down and, in many cases, say, I'm really sorry, but I am so overbooked, I cannot take more clients. So, again, going back to rewrite your happiness story, working with your clients, make sure you fully understand, happiness scale. Make sure you fully understand PERMA and how it works. Make sure you fully understand the questions that we asked you, and then kind of analyze them. Think about, when you were going through this, what are the questions that you would ask us? Write them down, because the chances are that those are the questions that your clients will ask. You can also just please send us a note. Put in the discussion forum. Write all these questions that you have about this and any other exercise, because that will help you become a better coach, and that will help you help your clients. So again, let's focus on rewriting our clients' happiness stories and help them become even more happier.